There's many things that kind of revolutionised English soccer from the 1990s onwards. Unfortunately, there's a devastatingly sad piece that comes before it, which is the fire at Bradford, the riot at Heysel, killing of people at Hillsborough, which, against a backdrop of kind of hooliganism that had blighted football for 2 decades by that point, there was a sense that football was dying. You know, if you go down to Stamford Bridge, you go down to Goodison, these are decaying, rotting stadia full of white working class men who are just there for a fight and the football's irrelevant. And why would anybody go there? But because of this kind of instance of horrific events, central government has to involve itself. You have the Taylor Report, and you first of all have the fundamental straightforward idea that the health and safety of football crowds have to be guaranteed. So this was about stadium design. Things that were 100 years old were not fit for purpose. Clear thing is, people, and they think this widely, and that's the real trick about Taylor, where he's a genius in many ways, is it's the right of people, not just white men, but people to go to football. People of race, people of gender, disability, ability, etc. Society should be replicated in a football stadium. I find now when I go to a kind of League Two ground and way down the bottom, I walk into somewhere where the supporters social club has got a marquee outside and they're serving, you know, their craft beer and their meat pies. Everybody's in a good mood. Number of police in attendance actually very minimal. I walk into a ground where there's more than enough bathroom facilities for everybody, where I get a numbered seat and where I sit there and I have fun. And at the end of my 90 minutes I go home, but I feel I have been treated like a human being. The fundamental reconstruction of English football happens in the 1990s because central government makes it happen. You can't sit back and say, oh, it's not our responsibility. They clearly are. You're putting your citizens into a confined space where they have to get in, get out, be safe, leave again, and the community around it isn't adversely affected. It is the issue of central government. So if you want to kind of move forward and say, okay, what's the bright, shiny future of kind of an all-Ireland league, I can sit here and say, well, it should be about identity and consumption and belief and you know, all kinds of things. But unless I can walk into a stadia, you know, and Taller's a perfect example. You know, it's small, it's compact by British standards, but it's clean, it's efficient, it works. And until you can guarantee that, then a lot of people are going to look at it and say, I am not taking my 8, 9-year-old son, daughter, whoever, to that ground to get them into football because it's disgusting, because it's unsafe, because some of the behaviour is not wonderful. And that's the piece for central government, that you can build an all-Ireland league with all the razzmatazz, good ideas, belief that you want, until central government says, we are mandating you, the football people, to sort out your facilities, and we will assist because we believe it's important, and all they've got to do is go and look at the figures in England elsewhere to know that point. Unless you get involved, football will die. For all the dreaming, for all the imagination, central government, Belfast, Dublin, has a role to interfere, if you like, with football. Support might be a better word. But you have to incentivise clubs doing something beyond their hand-to-mouth existence they have now. You know, if I have a league that's functioning, where every week there's 10, 12 matches, all played out in front of busy, happy crowds between 8 and 12,000 people, realistic, they've got to have a home to be proud of, and that's the stadium. So in a way, your question in the next decade is, if you take Taller, kind of Windsor Park in terms of modern functional design, then every ground should look like that. Football's not going to afford that, because until you have the knock-on that a Sky suddenly thinks this is a wonderful project and starts writing huge cheques, there's a position like English football where it's in the 1990s where the money isn't flowing. That's where government has to come in and make it anew and make those facilities desirable.